The process of Italianization means, to an historical and political level, all those actions that were undertaken by the Italian governments to undermine the local cultural and linguistic identities of minorities present in the Italian territory. These national policies aren't, of course, an exclusivity of both Italy and in the fascist period. Rather, such policies are older than fascism itself. As old as they come from the defeat of Napoleon after the Battle of Waterloo. The winning powers in Europe were afraid that the ideals of the French revolutions were spreading too quickly, threatening the stabilities of their countries and their basis of power. And as such, they ratified what would be called the Concept of Europe. That said, a common agreement on both maintaining the peace and avoid large-scale conflicts in Europe, and to make sure to slow down the ever-growing presence of the French ideals in their populations. But, of course, they will not last for long. In fact, many populations in Europe will cry out for their freedoms against their oppressive masters. An example is, of course, the Austrian Empire, an empire that was filled with many, many ethnic minorities, all crying for their own independence. As such, Italy will not be an isolated case. Italy, too, since its foundation, will pursue similar policies in its territory, mostly against the presence of local dialects, seen by the Italian elite as a threat to its national unity and the formation of a Italian conscience. And as such, all the governments did everything they could to contrast the presence of dialects through improving educations and outright forbidding their usage. Furthermore, following the victory after World War I, Italy also gained more territories, with the presence of an Austrian minority in Tyrol and a Slovenian minority, of course, in Slovenia. And with the rise of fascism, Mussolini would further enhance the policies of Italianization undertaken already from the period of the Italian Kingdom. In fact, the policies of Italianization will reach their peaks under Mussolini's regime. As stated, much of the policies will be unchanged. However, there will be more taken under an ideology lens. For example, Mussolini would enforce the fight against the dialects, but also against the barbarism. That is, all those words, those foreign words that were taking place in the daily use of the Italian people, and something that Mussolini thought was threatening his base of power. Furthermore, he also took policies that were very aggressive in regards of the Tyrolean and Slovenian minorities. Due to the nationalistic and racial views of the regime towards minorities and the exaltation of the Italian virtues, Mussolini could not allow that these minorities could be their own thing, that were anything but Italian. And as such, the fascist regime would do everything to undermine their cultural and political identity. Primarily, the fascist regime would abolish the usage of their local languages in favor to the Italian, often enforcing them through violence. They would also forcibly shut down all the local newspapers, either by threatening them or outright buying them and replacing them with newspapers that were more aligned to the fascist regime. Furthermore, the Italian regime often forced the local schools to do their classes only in Italian, plus by sending Italian teachers in those territories. And furthermore, the fascist regime would pursue policies of colonization in these territories, inviting Italians to seek their job and a fortune there. However, with the fall of fascism after World War II, the Italian Republic would do a reversal on those policies. In the end, deciding to both embrace the cultural diversity of its minorities and its dialectal background.